Hey guys, my name is Jeff, and this is Tony of American Legends Hot Rods and Muscle Cars, who built this beautiful Chrysler behind us. So would you mind walking us through a little bit about what you guys do and what you guys have built here as well?
Of course. So my name's Tony Army. I'm the owner of American Legends Hot Rods and Muscle Cars. We're local here to Phoenix, Arizona, and we brought out a 1959 Chrysler 300E. This car we built over the last 4 years in-house. It's pretty much about as modified of a Chrysler, I think, as we've ever seen. And we also like to say that I don't really ever think anyone's been done in this style before as well.
Yeah, you don't see these get built very often, right? So
this is a really rare car. They made 522 of these. It's said that there's 118 left. We like to think there's 117 left now.
So you said about 4 years. Do you know how many hours you guys have into this approximately?
We're right around 8,000 hours.
8,000 hours. I believe it. I mean, the thing's shaped like a bullet, right? You can even see the flush glass. There's parts that don't exist for this, right? So everything has to be made from scratch, I'm assuming?
Exactly, yeah. So that's we build a lot of cars in-house, and it's like you get a Mustang Camaro, you can buy quarter panels. This car was pretty much a screen door from the middle of the doors down. So we've had to remake the lower doors, remake the rockers, remake the quarters, remake the fenders, and we had to make it all. So there's a lot of fabrication and work that we had to do out of just flat pieces of sheet metal to create this car again. And it's not like we could just go get a better car because they're extremely rare. So where did the name come from for the Chrysler 1000X aspect of it? So the original Chrysler 300s back in 55, as I believe was when they started, they were the 300s because they had 300 horsepower. We named this one the Chrysler 1000 because we're making 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yes. And then so some history, I guess. The original Chrysler 300s, they were considered the letter series cars. There was the C, the B, and then the C again, D, and then 59 was E, and then in consecutive years, the letters kept going. We did this as an X to pay tribute to letter cars, as well as the original designer. His name was Virgil Exner.
Perfect. So we talked about 1,000 horsepower. What do we actually have here under the hood?
So the engine itself is a 6.2 liter Hellcat.
Okay.
We've pretty much made the blower lid. They're one-off CNC billet valve covers. The whole engine's been smoothed and done in Cerakote. A lot of little details and covers made to help hide all the wiring and injectors, stuff like that. We wanted to really showcase the engine versus hiding it all. So.
And did you guys build the motor? Because obviously I imagine a significant amount of changes to get that to 1,000 horsepower.
Correct. So SRT AutoWorks who did the engine work itself to it.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. And so it's backed by a 6-speed manual from Bowler.
Okay, perfect. So they build, as far as I know, some of the more bulletproof transmissions and everything as far as power instances.
Correct,
stuff,
yeah.
right?
This is their stage 2. It's all carbon fiber, synchros and stuff, so it'll handle the power and the higher RPM shifting.
Okay. And then what do you have to handle that as far as like chassis and suspension and stuff goes? So
when we first started with this car, we sent the car to Roadster Shop and they 3D scanned the entire car and built us a one-off chassis for it specifically for this car. It's based off of their fast track line, so it's all Corvette based. It's 4-wheel independent suspension. It is on air ride, and then when you get around to the back, you peek through the back window, you see the cantilever air ride system peeking up through the package tray.
Rad. And then what do we have for brakes on this?
We're running the Aero Willwood brakes, so 14-inch brakes all the way around, 6-piston in the front, 4-piston in the back. And then Avant-Garde did a one-off set of wheels for us that are carbon fiber, and they're Michelin tires that have all been shaved and cleaned up. Yeah,
that looks absolutely beautiful, especially with the way that the lip there was done. And these 3-piece, or what are they?
Yeah, they're a real 3-piece wheel. Wow. Yeah, so you have it's a carbon outer, an aluminum inner, and then a forged center.
Okay. So what do we have body-wise that was done to it? Obviously, a lot's been smooth shaved. The windows, just about everything.
That is a loaded question, yeah. So every panel's received drastic modifications. For all intents and purposes, we pretty much made the roof from scratch.
Wow.
Again, the car from about the middle down has been remade. The doors have been smoothed. We've made the rockers. They've been extended 2.5 inches to overall extend the side of the car. in the process of doing the roof. It's been chopped. It's been tipped down at a different angle than it was from the factory. It's
Holy
been extended
smokes.
2 inches. The fenders have been rotated. It's hard to describe all the changes. It's drastic.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. So, what do we have going on with the interior of this car? Obviously, we have some swing out seats here, but
so that seat is actually the original seat that came with the car. It used to be a bench seat. We cut it in half, turned it into bucket seats. So we wanted to retain the original swing out feature. All the door panels were all 3D printed in house, and then Patrick of Stitch Envy did all the upholstery work.
wow. Okay. Coming around to the back here, we have the cantilever suspension that you talked about earlier, right? So what was this, like a choice by Roadster Shop, or was this a little bit of both, or what made you guys sort of set it up that way?
So having an IRS rear end, the challenge was having a bag assembly down there with a live axle. So it really wasn't possible. So when we determined we wanted the car to be on air ride, we had to go this route. You know, if it was coilovers, it wouldn't have been a big deal. We could have done their standard IRS with the coilovers down below, but all that doesn't package down with an axle. So it was almost required that we did that. So that was kind of just an evolution of what we were doing, and it needed to be done. So
Okay, and then looking at the interior, there's obviously a ton of carbon, but you even have carbon laid into the floor. Did you replace any pieces of metal with carbon to lighten it, or what's going on there? Is it mostly cosmetic?
Yeah, so like the floor itself is more cosmetic. We wanted to kind of continue the honeycomb theme that we have in the seats with the floor and the grills, and then in the back rear valance of the car has honeycomb paneling. So that was just our way. We kind of took the carbon fiber fabric and treated it like a fabric, if you will. So the whole floor pan in the car is all that was all designed on a computer, all CNC cut and bent.
Wow.
So the entire pan has been replaced, but we kind of use that carbon as more of an accent on the floor.
So coming around to the back here, we have a significant amount of changes. Obviously, look at the taillights, the exhaust, all of the even custom panel inserts here that have been done. What else is going on back here?
So we kind of wanted to, I guess, update the car is the easiest way to describe it. If you look at an original 59 300D, it still very much resembles what it was. It was obviously a lot heavier, a lot bulkier, a lot more chrome, obviously. But we rerouted, the exhaust to where the reverse lights would have been. Everything basically you're seeing from below the bumper was all CAD designed, all CNC cut, laser cut. The taillights, we tried to kind of recreate that modern halo style that the new Dodges have. So those we 3D printed in-house. So that's a resin-based print is what we use to make those.
And you've got that down to a science, because I mean, these are actually translucent. Sometimes you hear people messing around with that stuff, and it comes out a little bit hazy sometimes, but these are perfect.
Yeah, a lot of people ask if they're glass or if they've been machined out of acrylic, but they are 3D printed.
I believe it.
We've got the taillights pretty figured out. We've done quite a few cars now with taillights that we've had to 3D print. So
yeah, and I mean, this thing's gorgeous. And is this car now part of the show touring circuit? Is it going to be making its way around the various things, or what's going on with it?
Yeah, so we started in Detroit, and we were lucky enough to get one of the grade 8s, and then we hit Chicago and got a select 6 there.
Nice.
Now we're at Good Guys in Scottsdale. We'll see what happens here. We have plans of going to Good Guys in Del Mar in 2 weeks. And from there, I'm not really sure. But we do plan on showing it a bit more. The owner's also anxious to drive it, so.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, well, thank you for walking us through this. What's the best place to get in touch with you or contact you regarding builds or anything like that?
If anybody's interested in anything like this, American Legends, we have a website. It's alhotrods.com. You can also find us on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. So
perfect. All right, well, with that, thank you very much, Tony. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.